MrBeast is the head of a cult.
Many people over the years have accused MrBeast, YouTube's biggest star, of purposely brainwashing kids, turning his fan base into a straight up cult. And it's no surprise why. If you've got a kid with access to YouTube in your family, there's a big chance they're head over heels obsessed with MrBeast. And while on the surface it might all look innocent, this didn't happen by accident. Over the past 10 years, MrBeast mastered the art of brainwashing children to make them obsess over him like nobody else. And I just spent the last 45 hours diving deep into his last decade of content to uncover exactly how he did it. I'm gonna reveal it all in this video, from the most subtle to the most sinister tactics he's used. And if you stick to the end, I'll also show you why no matter what scandals MrBeast ever gets accused of, from crimes and fraud to even hiring a registered offender on his team, he's able to escape criticism and never gets canceled. But first, let's rewind back to the beginning. In 2012, Jimmy Donaldson, an awkward 13-year-old from Greenville, North Carolina, created a brand new YouTube channel called MrBeast 6000. He had been watching YouTube videos obsessively and realized that some of his favorite creators were making a ton of money on the platform, and he decided that's what he wanted to do too. His early content started off mostly with him playing his favorite video games, Minecraft and Black Ops 2. That didn't really get him any traction though. So he decided to start branching out into a different type of content for people who are obsessed with YouTube like him, and especially other folks who are trying to start their own YouTube channels. And although he started getting views with that, it still wasn't getting him where he wanted to be. That was until 3 years later when he launched his popular Worst YouTube Intros series, making fun of random YouTubers.
It is for the Chuck, yeah. Subscribe to Mother Chuck, yeah.
Is MrBeast. Subscribe to MrBeast.
That series started getting him a lot of attention. And it was during that time that we start to see some of MrBeast's first cult building tactics begin to emerge. From this series, his audience began latching onto certain inside jokes, running gags, and catchphrases that he would constantly share inside of the videos.
I created an organization called Parents Don't Leave Your Kids at Home Alone with the Camera. All I need is a small loan of $1 million, and I can put an end to intros like this.
Drop the bass. Bwomp, bwomp.
From these jokes, his fans began to develop an insider language and certain phrases that set them apart from the people who weren't familiar with MrBeast. By the time 2017 hit, MrBeast had just graduated high school and he knew he didn't want to go to college. He wanted to focus on YouTube full time, but his mom didn't see it as a legit path for him. So she gave him an ultimatum.
You can stay in the house if you go to school. If you don't go to school, you're gonna have to leave.
He didn't have the money to move out, so he was left with no choice. So instead,
I went, but I just stopped going to classes and I just didn't tell my mom. My whole goal in all of high school was to never go to college. I was just like, if I can just make enough money before high school is over, I can just do this. That's where I like doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I'm still only making a few bucks a day. Like, we got to figure this out.
Everything changed when he released his first ever viral video.
I'm about to count to 100,000.
To be honest, no one on YouTube has ever done something that stupid.
Let's 1, 2, 3, 4.
It garnered a ton of attention.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006.
It's one of my first like real viral videos.
76,411, 76,412, 76,414, 76,415, 76,416.
And that's where it kind of clicked, like, oh, like if I do interesting things, people will watch.
Now it was time to double down on what was working and take things to the next level. So in his next big viral stunt,
basically this agent manager kind of guy that represents Quid called me and was like, hey, we'll give you $5,000 for a video. And I remember this vividly because I'm just standing in my driveway and I'm like, no, I want $10,000. And he's like, 5,000. I'm like, no, I want 10,000. I just want to walk out my front door and go give it to a homeless person. Hey, so it's about $10,000. I'm not joking.
Yeah, right.
Nah, you talking.
No, I'm not.
It's real.
Yeah, I swear. No, I don't like.
No, man.
So from there, he continued the momentum with more outlandish stunts,
Flamethrower versus fire extinguisher.
giveaways.
We have tons of money right here, like $20,000. We have a drone them. Yep, we're gonna drop money from the drone on completely random people.
Until in November of 2017, he hit his first 1 million subscribers. Needless to say, he realized the strategy was working for him like gangbusters. So it was from there that MrBeast began to hone in on his unique style and brand of content that set him apart from everything else on YouTube. But 1 million subscribers still wasn't enough, and he knew if he wanted to break past that level, he'd have to take things even further and find a way to get himself a crap ton of more attention. MrBeast kept his eyes open for the next big opportunity to get himself a shitload more attention. And lucky for him, it came around soon later in the summer of 2018 with YouTube's historic war between PewDiePie, who was the biggest creator on YouTube at that time, versus T-Series, India's biggest music and film production company, a massive corporate conglomerate.
We're failing! Another YouTube channel is taking over. That's right. In no less than in November this year. PewDiePie will not be the biggest channel on YouTube. That would be pretty nice, actually. No! We must fight back. Who is this T-Series channel? This channel will pass PewDiePie. I'm number one! I'm number one!
This sparked an all-out YouTube war among PewDiePie's fan base to rally in support of him and protect the platform from being overtaken by corporations, leading to an explosion of memes, posts urging people to subscribe to PewDiePie, and even diss tracks.
Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but a bitch lasagna.
Amidst the chaos, MrBeast saw the opportunity to strike.
I bought a bunch of billboards.
Dude, we got the double billboard. We don't mess around.
Went on TV.
Grab your phone, go on YouTube, search PewDiePie, and subscribe to him.
Did radio ads.
No one kills memes as quickly and efficiently as this Swedish man.
Bought bathroom ads.
There's our ad. Right above the urinal.
And much more to try and stop T-Series from passing PewDiePie in subscribers.
He even recreated his original counting to 100,000 video, but this time,
in this video, I will say PewDiePie 100,000 times to stop T-Series.
PewDiePie.
these antics drew him massive views. But this sudden and rapid rise also started to pose a huge problem for MrBeast, specifically in maintaining a close connection with his fan base as he once did. Because when he first started building his audience and getting traction, one of the things he was known for was responding to the comments on his videos very quickly, to the point that it became a known thing among his audience, and they would compete to comment on his video as soon as possible to see how long it would take him to reply. And this one-to-one interaction was very important for him in the beginning in establishing that influence with his fan base. Now, as MrBeast's following grew, obviously it's not easy for him to respond to every comment. So that's when he started getting smarter and finding new ways to strengthen his influence, indoctrinate his followers, and keep a relationship going with them. He started leaning even deeper into what I would call probably his most powerful cult building tactic of all. If you remember earlier in his journey, one of the moments that made him go viral was when he gave his first $10,000 brand deal to a homeless guy. And from there, he kept giving away money and kept increasing the amount of money that he was giving in his videos, to the point that his brand became synonymous with generosity and giving money away. And this was one of the things that his fans loved him for. So that gave MrBeast a really smart idea. Lean into this philanthropy aspect of his brand 1,000 times more. And the first thing he did to accomplish this was launch a project called #EamTrees.
We partnered with the largest nonprofit tree planting organization in the world, Arbor Day. But we need your help. Every dollar donated, they will plant a tree.
With the help of MrBeast's following, he put a lot of attention into making sure to involve them every step of the process.
Team Trees might have started with me, but it definitely outgrew me. Over 500,000 unique people donated to the campaign.
Why was this so powerful? The idea of having a big mission or cause behind your brand, not only does it create a sense of belonging and being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, but it makes followers believe that by doing what the leader wants them to do, they're actively making the world a better place. This is how Jim Jones, the guy who's famous for getting hundreds of his followers to commit mass by drinking Kool-Aid, was able to amass such a loyal following. His rise was during the time of the civil rights era in America, and he convinced his followers the People's Temple was ushering in a new world and what he called a rainbow family, where it didn't matter if you were white, it didn't matter if you were black, everyone would come together as a family. And for MrBeast, not only did this aspect of his brand become something that keeps his fans super emotionally connected with him, but it also became a weapon that he uses to keep his critics in line. And we'll get into how exactly he does that in just a little bit. But that was the first tactic. The next change he made was he started referring to his fans as Beast Gang. And originally, it was actually something he used to refer to his close group of boys that he was frequently featuring inside of his content. But then he noticed his fans started referring to themselves as Beast Gang. So he adopted that phrase and started calling them it too. Now, this might seem subtle, but it is also a very powerful cult building tactic, because what he did is he gave his fan base an identity they could latch onto. It's why one of the smartest things you'll see massive celebrities who have cult-like followings do is give their fan base a name they can identify themselves by. Taylor Swift with her Swifties, Lady Gaga with her Little Monsters. Around the same time, MrBeast also started selling merch that featured his brand symbols, like the MrBeast beast or tiger. I don't really know what it's supposed to be. Merch isn't something that's unique to MrBeast, of course not, but what a lot of people don't realize, people identify very strongly with the clothing they put on themselves. It's why Donald Trump is so big on selling those red caps. Aside from that, MrBeast hosting his first ever in-person events, including meets and greets for his fans, charity events, collaborations with other YouTubers who had massive followings, and even invitations to his fans to come out to his shoots and be a part of his content. This allowed MrBeast to create places where his fans could congregate, come together, not just consume him online, but actually meet him in person, but more importantly, meet each other in person and bond with others in the community over their shared passion of MrBeast. The result of all of these strategic moves was by the end of 2019, he was one of the most viewed YouTubers in the entire world. 2020 to 2024, MrBeast heavily reinvests everything he makes right back into his content and growing his company, going even further with all of the tactics he employed in his earlier years. He doubled down even further on his big mission by launching Beast Philanthropy, a second YouTube channel and nonprofit, in 2020.
What is up, gamers? I just opened my very own charity and I just wanted to tell you guys about it. We adopted every dog at a dog shelter, bought everything in 5 stores and then gave it away, donated $1 million worth of food to people in need, gave a homeless person a house, raised $20 million, plant 20 million trees. In general, I enjoy doing good things, which is why I started my very own charity, and 100% of the revenue from this channel will go towards funding it.
When it came to the content, MrBeast also started formalizing things within his team much more and made his #1 focus to make sure the content they were creating was what no other creator on the platform is capable of.
An alleged internal document from MrBeast's company was just leaked. This document was allegedly one that he sent to all of his employees upon hiring, and it shows Jimmy's real, unfiltered thoughts on YouTube, his company, and his employees. Anytime we do something that no other creator can do, that separates us in their mind and it makes our videos more special to them.
From there, his fan base started to grow even more rapidly, reaching 50 million subscribers by 2021. But this once again posed the same dilemma for MrBeast as he ran into last time when he saw explosive growth. The more high production his content became, the bigger the distance between MrBeast and his followers. So he needed to find even more new ways to maintain that personal connection that he built with his following. That's when he once again made a couple changes to personalize his brand even more and find new ways to make his fans feel like insiders in his world. The first one was by starting to refer to himself as Jimmy in his content. You'll notice nowadays in his videos, he almost never calls himself MrBeast. Instead, he just refers to himself as Jimmy. And he encourages his fans to do the same thing, which makes him feel more like a personal friend. On top of that, Jimmy started making it a priority to go on podcasts and find other opportunities to share more of his story and his personal life, helping him humanize his brand and connect with people on a more personal level. In addition to that, you got to keep in mind in recent years, MrBeast, I don't know his exact net worth, you could probably find it online, but people say he's a billionaire. Now, as a billionaire, it's pretty hard to stay relatable to the vast majority of people, especially those watching his content, most of which still live with their parents. So MrBeast has put a lot of attention and continues to put a big emphasis on making sure his brand feels like an everyday, down-to-earth type of dude. Just one of the boys, somebody you could chill with, not flashy, not greedy, even down to little details. Like,
so I have an editing question for you, actually. You've got the most ridiculous camera gear available to you. You've got 300 cameras in some videos. You just upgraded your cameras actually to new ones that can shoot 8K resolution.
Which I never will, because I think it looks too professional.
Yeah, so this is the question. Why is it that after all that, you still export in 1080p?
I don't like the way high quality footage looks. You know, at the end of the day, it's just me and the boys messing around. You know, we still come up with the videos. It's still things that I find fun and I enjoy, and I don't ever want things to feel too produced.
On top of that, because MrBeast's content has become very massive spectacles, Beast made the smart move to launch a couple additional channels, not just as a way to make extra money, but also a way to connect with his fans in a more low-key, personalized way. He launched MrBeast Gaming and MrBeast Reacts, which gave him an avenue for much more laid-back, low-production style content, where he can connect with his audience in a different and more intimate type of way and let other aspects of his personality shine through, like in his earlier days on YouTube. And this stuff worked. So from there, MrBeast, as he's growing his company, realized he needed to start codifying these tactics and teaching them to his staff so that when they're working on his content, they know what to focus on and how to properly indoctrinate his following. And that's where MrBeast developed a 3-step psychological process to get kids to buy into the MrBeast brand and do whatever he wants, as detailed by ex-employee Dogpack404.
Step 1 is getting the viewer to associate the brand with trust and authority. MrBeast videos are real, and he's a great guy that gives away big rewards to his loyal followers. Step 2 is showing the viewers that when people interact with MrBeast in a way that benefits MrBeast, when they do what he tells them to do, they win big rewards.
Is he subscribed? You are subscribed. Here's the money. Have a good day. Hit that subscribe button because you might bump into me in real life and it might make you a lot of money.
And step 3 is finally calling on the viewer to act in some way that benefits the brand. These young viewers are explicitly told repeatedly if they subscribe, buy products, they will win big rewards. Trust MrBeast, watch him help others, contribute to his cause, and one day he'll help you too. That's the formula.
From there, MrBeast's fan base starts growing faster than ever before, hitting 100 million subscribers, then 200 million subscribers just a year later, and over 300 million subscribers only a year after, and solidifying himself as the #1 most subscribed YouTuber on the entire platform. MrBeast faced with his toughest year ever, 2024, when a barrage of allegations, some horrifying shit, starts coming his way, starting with the expose of his best friend, Chris Tyson, who's now known as Ava Chris Tyson.
MrBeast has mutually parted ways with Ava Chris Tyson after bombshell allegations. Allegations of inappropriate conversations with a minor have come to light after YouTuber Prism42 released a damaging investigation about MrBeast's employee and friend, Ava Chris Tyson.
Chris Tyson reached out to this guy when he was 13 years old. He was only 13 years old. He was in middle school and you were in college. You were 20 years old.
But that was only the start. After that, even more came out with the release of a video from ex-employee Dawson, aka Dogpack404.
A new video by Dogpack titled, "I worked for MrBeast, he's a sociopath," presents disturbing claims. Jake Weddle, a former employee, shared his experience, alleging that MrBeast faked videos and fired him after he raised concerns about pay disparities within the team. Weddle also recounted a distressing story about filming a solitary confinement challenge, which left him physically and mentally exhausted. More troubling are the allegations that MrBeast knowingly hired a registered offender who appeared in videos while masked.
And by the way, this isn't the first time MrBeast has been accused of some ugly stuff. While I was preparing this video, I ended up doing deep research into 20 different scandals and cancellation attempts MrBeast found himself in over the past 10 years. And I realized this is a pretty routine thing for him that he's become a master at overcoming. After spending hours upon hours digging through every single MrBeast scandal, I realized this man has a very methodical approach to how he deals with them. And I guarantee you it's exactly what we're gonna see him do amidst these allegations coming out right now. And by the way, the shit's damn smart. It's the reason MrBeast just never ends up getting canceled. So how exactly does he do it? By cycling through 3 main strategies. Now, the first thing we gotta keep in mind is most of the time when allegations come out against MrBeast, 99% of his fan base are entirely unaware. I mean, he's got over 310 million fans, I think, at the time of his video. A random creator's video calling him out, even if it does get millions of views, is barely gonna put a dent in his reputation, which means most of the time, him even acknowledging a scandal would only bring it more attention because he's probably getting called out by somebody who's maximum gonna get 1 million views, whereas he has a fan base of over 300 million people who aren't even gonna see that video. That's why MrBeast's #1 go-to strategy when it comes to dealing with scandals is simply keeping his mouth shut. Because if he does that, eventually everyone just moves on to the next big thing and he gets away scot-free. And with these recent allegations, we can see so far MrBeast has been using this strategy. He only ever acknowledged allegations against Ava Chris Tyson, but all the other stuff that came out about MrBeast himself, he hasn't said a single thing, at least not yet today. And he's continued uploading videos to his channel, which are getting between 100 to 200 million views each. And in almost every single scenario, this strategy alone works perfect for him. But when it doesn't work, that's when he moves on to strategy #2. When his hand is forced, he'll address it off of the platform. You'll never see an apology video from MrBeast on YouTube, which wouldn't be smart of him to do anyways, because that's where the bulk of his fan base are, who are not even aware. So when he does make a statement, he tends to do it somewhere else, like Twitter. And these statements almost always follow one single approach, which is using his philanthropy as a thought-terminating defense. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. But basically, he'll point to all the good that he's done throughout the years and use it as a way to make you feel like you can't criticize him for something shady he's doing. And it's not just MrBeast, because his fans will come to his defense and they'll use the same exact tactic, like in this video.
This clout chaser made a video painting Jimmy in the negative, and as a result, we got a herd of sheep calling for Jimmy's cancellation. Here is a short list of all the good things that Jimmy has done to make this world a better place, which people are so quick to forget. I would have wrote down a lot more, but I ran out of room. I wonder if the people hating on Jimmy have done even 1% of the good deeds that he has.
And this almost always works. I can tell you, when I was researching these scandals and looking through the Twitter threads, Reddit threads, and so on, there isn't a single conversation I read, no matter how bad the allegations were, where people were not using this defense as a way to get people to shut up. And that's why I refer to it as a thought-terminating fence, because this is a common tactic used by cults to control their followers and shut down any doubts, criticisms. Most of the time, they'll simplify it in a single statement, as explained here.
Trick in the cult leader's language toolkit is a thought-terminating cliche. These are sayings that end uncomfortable conversations or trains of thoughts. It is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. Let's agree to disagree. They shut down argument and critical thinking, which is why they're so handy to authoritarians who don't like to be questioned. Charles Manson countered any rational objections to his ravings by saying, "No sense makes sense." Try arguing with that. T and Doe, the leaders of the Heaven's Gate cult, would tell skeptical listeners that they didn't have the gift of recognition. And Warren Jeffs, leader of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, admonished dissatisfied female congregants to keep sweet. Thought-terminating cliches are a two-way street. They allow the leader to avoid threatening questions while giving followers permission to ignore their cognitive dissonance.
And for MrBeast, this is the main strategy that has kept him immune up until now, literally 100% over the past decade. On top of that, the fact that when he makes statements himself, he only does it off of the YouTube platform is a super important point too. Because like I said, even allegations that are coming out right now, videos are only getting maximum no more than 15 million views. Whereas MrBeast's most recent videos are easily pulling 10 times that. On top of that, considering that so much of his fan base are young kids, they are not even aware of this whole controversy taking place. And for many of them, even if they are, they don't really understand the gravity of it. So even if he does end up making a statement by keeping it off of YouTube, he'll be able to appease the people demanding some kind of statement from him while mostly hiding the whole thing from his fan base. And honestly, I don't really think MrBeast even cares about appeasing his critics because that's just a losing battle. But I do believe he cares about appeasing his friends on YouTube like Ludwig, whose support he wouldn't want to lose.
I think Jimmy needs to make a reply. Like, he technically doesn't need to. He uploaded a YouTube video and it got 120 million views, and he could probably continue to upload videos without ever replying, but I won't be able to support him.
And of course, his brand sponsors and so on. So it's really only because of these people that he might even make a statement. So those are the ways that he addresses it publicly. Now, another thing I have to mention is strategy number 3, and this is something he does behind the scenes. And it's hard to tell how frequently he uses this, but he'll find quiet ways to shut down the conversation. Whether that's through legal action, censoring comments and discussions, or possibly paying out hush money, I don't know. We do have proof of the legal action because when Dogpack404 came out with his video, this is what he got from MrBeast.
MrBeast's legal team did send me a cease and desist, and here's my official response to that.
And MrBeast has allegedly also used some other ways to shut down the conversation, like copyright claiming videos on YouTube.
A lot has happened since I recorded my last video going over Dodpack or Dawson's video on MrBeast, including my own video was copyright claimed and blocked worldwide,
as well as censoring comments on his own videos.
So MrBeast is deleting comments now. Ever since he posted his latest video, people have been sharing proof that he is actively deleting negative comments.
And although we can't really find out the full extent of how often MrBeast uses these behind the scenes tactics, there have also been multiple allegations of MrBeast offering and possibly paying out hush money to people who had criticisms for him, including most recently Jake Weddle, one of the guys who's embroiled in this whole Dogpack404 controversy, got offered $190,000 from MrBeast after sharing his experience as an ex-employee.
He said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video and I apologize. Clearly it had an effect on you. You mentioned you'd like to be paid out the rest of the prize money, the other $190,000. And I'd love to make things right with you. I have zero expectation of you mentioning me sending you this money publicly or taking down any videos. This is just me wanting to help you out and make sure you're good. I just need to know if you still have the same bank or not. We'll send you the money on Monday.
Now, to be fair, MrBeast specifically framed this offer of $190,000 as not being hush money and told him that he can continue talking if he wants to. But whether this offer was purely out of the goodness of his heart and wanting to make things right, or he was thinking it'd likely get some of the heat off of him, well, I'm gonna leave that to you to decide. You let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this deep dive and want even more insight into MrBeast's cult building tactics, I'm publishing a full thread, over 35 different cult building tactics I uncovered after spending 45 ADHD-inducing hours digging through as much of MrBeast's content as I could handle. In that thread, I'm also detailing how exactly you can take these same cult building tactics and ethically deploy them into your own brand if you're a business owner, content creator, or entrepreneur who wants to amass your own cult-like fan base. I'll drop a link to that specific thread below. And if you did enjoy this video and want more like it, then pimp slap that like button. And don't forget to leave a comment below telling me who you want me to do a video on next. I'll choose from who you recommend in the comments, so go ahead and let me know.